Okay, so we're gonna wrap about 3 times around the wrist here. It's gonna take me a couple seconds because I didn't wrap this the right way when I was done with it last. Always make sure you're wrapping it up all neat so it's not all turned over and wrinkled. So here, usually you would go behind the pinky, but what I'm gonna do for you guys is just wrap around the hand so we can do a quick knuckle pad here. Okay, now you're gonna wanna kind of stack that on top of each other at least 3 to 4 times. I find is most comfortable. If it gets a little twisted, just try and fix that the best you can. It might take a little bit. These things don't really matter while you're training as long as it's nice and neat and nothing is really uneven. You want them to be pretty uniform. But what I'm doing now is actually I'm about to roll the knuckle pad after you get it around the thumb. I'm gonna roll that knuckle pad up kind of like you would roll a piece of paper, which a lot of people I feel like don't do. But this is very, very basic for boxing. A lot of pros will do it this way. And then you're gonna wanna wrap around that so it doesn't move around. After you finish with that basic knuckle pad, you're gonna wanna even it out, make sure that it's not wrinkly, go around the wrist once and back up around the thumb and then back across the pinky, which will lock it into your hand. Then around the middle part. After this, I'm gonna go up, back around one more time and in between the index finger and the middle finger. And really, you're just trying to make sure that knuckle pad sits firm on the top of your knuckles and that everything is not too tight, but snug. You don't wanna be losing circulation here. But you wanna make sure that, it's not gonna lead to a catastrophic failure while you're working out. That's gonna be incredibly painful for your wrist and for your hands. So you wanna make sure that you're doing this every day and taking the time to wrap your hands properly. So now I'm just wrapping around the back side, just trying to waste a little bit of the wrap around my wrist so that I can have a little bit more support. But really what we're focused on here is the knuckle pad because I've been boxing for a while, so we don't need to focus on support as much. If you're newer to this, I would recommend wrapping more around the wrists and making that X. But as you can see here, this is a completely tight wrap. I'm just showing it a little bit in motion. It's not moving, there's nothing giving. It's not coming loose. It's a little cheeky little jab. All right, here we go with the second one now. You're basically doing the opposite of what you just did on whichever hand you decide to start with on the other hand. So it should be perfectly even. You don't want one wrap different than the other. Sometimes I would experiment with that just to see which, is the best feel for me when I was starting out. But after doing this for so long, you kind of find the way you like to wrap your hands, and that's really what's important. I really am taking a lot of time here to make sure that it's even. This is why you always want to kind of roll it up afterwards. I guess I was just lazy last workout and didn't do that, but it's okay. It's just, it's costing me a little bit of time now, but it's all right. You gotta just get through it. The knuckle pad is a pretty good bag glove wrap. I only use bag gloves when I'm boxing on the bag, just because I'm a noble art practitioner. We're not using sparring gloves on the bag. Sparring gloves are for sparring. That's the whole deal. But same thing here, just rolling up that knuckle pad, really just trying to make everything even and neat and nice and snug. Like I said before, we just, every little bit of wrap is important. I said waste the wrap around my wrist a little, but it's not really a waste, it's more just support. But yeah, as we're getting through this, it's just practice. It'll take a little bit of time to get used to this. It'll feel a little weird at first, but after you do it for a while, it'll feel weird to train without it. You really won't want to train without wrapping your hands. So it's incredibly useful. And if you are a boxer, it's a necessity. You have to wrap your hands. You're gonna have so many injuries if you just don't do it. But here we go, just wrapping around the wrist a little more, up around the thumb, up around the pointer finger, and back out around. Now at the end of this, I'm going to move them a little bit so that I have an open palm. It's actually more of a Muay Thai technique, but I prefer it as my palms tend to sweat quite a bit when I work. So yeah, it's really user preference, but there we go. And they're pretty even. And yeah, this is what they should look like when you're done. Shouldn't, there's that open palm technique that I'm talking about here. You really just adjust it. There you go. Cheeky little bit of shadow boxing too. I can't help but show it off a little bit. I kind of love it. This is my grind. Right, but yeah, hope this was helpful, and let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or need better specifications. Thanks for watching.